Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a truly fascinating, completely eco-friendly approach to an age-old nuisance. We're looking at what you might call the feline workforce.
You know, if you've ever dealt with traditional traps or poisons and just thought to yourself, man, there has to be a better way, you're in exactly the right place. Let's start with a scenario that honestly might be a little too familiar. Have you ever struggled with stubborn rodents out on a rural property, inside a sprawling barn, or, I don't know, maybe a large commercial warehouse? It's incredibly frustrating, right? And the go-to methods for dealing with this usually involve toxic chemicals and dangerous traps. These traditional methods come with serious pain points. Not only are they just temporary fixes, but they're stressful to manage and super dangerous to have around. But there is actually an elegant, centuries-old alternative making a massive comeback right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the rodent problem.
So, rodents breed quickly and they hide easily, right? Which makes them notoriously difficult to manage in large spaces. When we're facing this, we have a really stark comparison in how we can respond. On one side, traditional pest control using rodent poisons poses severe, cascading risks. Think about it. It's not just the pests that are affected. These toxins pose serious dangers to local wildlife, your own domestic pets, and even people who might accidentally come into contact with them. But on the other side, we have a natural alternative. We're talking about a safe, effective, and totally environmentally friendly method that has literally been around for centuries, completely bypassing the need for those harmful chemicals.
But here's where this explainer gets really compelling, because we're actually looking at a dual problem. On one hand, we've got significant property damage and health hazards from out-of-control rodents. And on the other hand, we have animal shelters full of hard-to-place cats facing long-term confinement simply because they don't fit the mold of your standard cuddly house pet. What if I told you that we could solve both of these seemingly unrelated problems with a single brilliant solution?
Well, that brings us perfectly to Section 2, Meet the Feline Workforce.
Let's clearly define what this actually is. A working cats program places cats that are just not suited for traditional indoor homes into environments where they can absolutely thrive doing what they do best, hunting pests. We're talking about cats that might be independent, semi-feral, fearful, or maybe they just lack the socialization needed to be a typical companion pet. Instead of just languishing in shelters long-term without alternative options, these animals are given a second chance. They're given a really meaningful purpose in an environment where their natural instincts are actually a massive asset.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how versatile this feline workforce really is. We aren't just talking about old farm barns here. These cats are successfully employed in modern warehouses, commercial storage facilities, busy agricultural mills, ranches, and all kinds of large outdoor properties. Basically, anywhere that has a pest problem and a secure space can be an absolute ideal workplace for these cats.
And honestly, what's really fascinating here is a super simple fact. Their mere presence is a deterrent. Working cats don't even need to be actively hunting 24/7 to be effective. Just through their natural hunting behaviors, and honestly just by living in the area, their scent and activity naturally deter rodents from even trying to settle there in the first place. It makes them an incredibly effective long-term solution, rather than just a quick, temporary fix.
Moving right along to Section 3, Expectations versus Reality.
Working cats are fundamentally different from typical house pets. A traditional indoor pet is, social, eager for affection, wants to curl up on your lap. Working cats? They're strictly here for the job, not for the cuddles. They're highly independent, and they may actively avoid human interaction altogether. Understanding this non-social nature is absolutely crucial before you decide to bring them into your environment.
But hey, just because they're a bit wild at heart doesn't mean they aren't thoroughly prepared for the job. Here's what you can actually expect from the logistics of a reputable program. First off, they're usually placed in pairs. This gives them companionship and helps them adjust much more easily to a brand new environment. Second, they're completely vetted. So they're already spayed or neutered to prevent unwanted litters, fully vaccinated to ensure they're healthy, and microchipped for safety and identification. You're getting safe, protected, and fully prepared workers.
All right, Section 4, Care and Acclimation. Let's think of this as the essential employee onboarding process.
While these cats may not want to be petted, they still rely heavily on their caretakers for basic survival. There are several non-negotiable, let's call them employee benefits, that you have to provide. To keep them healthy and thriving in their new role, you must provide a secure shelter to protect them from weather and predators. You absolutely must provide fresh food and clean water every single day, because they really can't survive on mice alone.
You also need to provide a safe, contained space during their initial arrival and, of course, keep an ongoing eye on their general health and well-being.
So the absolutely crucial point here is how you introduce them to the property. You cannot just open a carrier and let them run, or they will literally flee. Step 1 is the acclimation period, keeping them in a large crate or enclosed area for a short, designated period. Step 2 is a psychological shift. This temporary crating helps them recognize this specific new location as their permanent home base, where the food and the safety live. Only after this process is fully complete do we reach Step 3, where they're finally allowed to roam freely and get straight to work.
And that brings us to our final section. Section 5, a win-win solution.
First, let's make sure this is actually the right fit for you. This program isn't for everyone looking for a pet. To be a caretaker, you must actually have a rodent problem that needs solving. You must be willing and able to provide that consistent care, food, and shelter we just talked about, and most importantly, you must completely accept the cat's non-social nature. If you are looking for a practical, humane solution and you can meet these criteria, this is for sure an incredibly effective strategy.
I literally love this quote from our source material because it just sums the whole thing up perfectly. Working Cats programs create a unique solution that benefits both people and animals. Giving cats a job that suits them perfectly, property owners get a highly effective, natural, chemical-free method of pest control, and cats that might have otherwise faced pretty grim odds in a shelter are given a safe, comfortable, and purposeful life doing exactly what they are naturally wired to do. It's a total win-win.
So, I want to leave you with this. Could your pest problem be a homeless cat's perfect opportunity? It's a really powerful shift in perspective, isn't it? By rethinking our approach to nature and animal welfare, we can turn a daily frustration into a life-saving second chance. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this gives you a completely new way to look at natural pest control and the amazing potential of the feline workforce. See you next time.